Part 1. Two armies face off by the strange river. The Crimson General roars at the foreign invaders. General Zhongli, commander of the mighty Han army, led his troops day and night, marching at double speed. They moved so fast, it was like their boots had been greased. Before long, they arrived at the banks of the strange river and quickly set up camp. But guess what? Across the river, black as a storm cloud, the Tibetan army had also pitched their tents. The two forces stood eye to eye across the water, the tension as tight as a bowstring. Night passed without incident. At dawn the next day, just as the sky began to glow, horns blared and drums thundered from both camps. In the blink of an eye, the armies had formed up. Banners fluttered like flames, spears and swords stood like a forest of steel, flashing cold light in all directions, dazzling to behold. Suddenly, boom, a deafening cannon blast shook the air. Then came the clash of drums and gongs, so loud the very ground seemed to quake. From the Han army's front lines a banner snapped open, and from behind it a mighty warrior rode forth. Take a good look at this general. Eyebrows like twin swords, thick and black, slanting sharply to the temples, like blades just drawn from their sheaths, brimming with deadly energy. A face like red lacquer, ruddy and glowing, like a living statue of Lord Guan. You'd think he'd just downed 3 jars of strong wine. Crimson robes and golden armor, his scarlet battle cloak billowed in the wind, shining with gold-plated chainmail. When the sun hit, whoa, like 1,000 rays of fortune lighting up the sky, so bright the enemy soldiers had to squint. Lance in hand, horse at the ready, he held an 8-foot spear and sat firm in the saddle, while his war-horse neighed and pawed the ground, itching for the charge. And who was this heroic figure? None other than our central pillar, the great General Zhongli. Across the river, the Tibetan side wasn't slacking either. Their commander waved his own banner and galloped forth, golden helmet and silver armor, gleaming like a walking pile of treasure. A broadsword as wide as a door, flashing with lethal light. The sight of it sent chills down the spine. Horseback stance, full of menace, glaring under heavy brows, his posture screamed, "I fear no one." The two generals now stood face to face, truly a clash of titans, sharp edge against sharp edge. As the old poem says, when heroes clash, none can compare. Their fury cracks the sky and startles the gods. Drums shake the mountains, flags stir the clouds. One battle decides the fate of thousands. Then General Zhongli shook his spear, pointed it at the enemy, and roared like thunder. "Hey, Tibetan general, listen up. We, the Celestial Empire, treat all neighboring lands with kindness like a parent to its children. If you come bearing gifts, our emperor rewards you 100-fold. But you lot? You've rejected peace, spurned grace, and come sneaking around our borders like rats. What, did you think the great Han Empire has no champions left to put you in your place? I'll say it plain. If you surrender now, dismount and offer tribute, we might spare you and even give you a title. But if you keep acting like fools, then don't blame me when I grind you into dust." Part 2. Words as sharp as blades. 80 rounds of heroic combat. The Tibetan general's name? Zhan Buyu. Huh? Even his name sounded unlucky Buyu, as in never retreat? We'll see about that. After hearing General Zhongli's scolding tirade, righteous words mixed with sharp insults, Zhan Buyu was fuming. His nostrils flared so wide you could stick a pair of chopsticks in them. He slammed his massive broadsword against the saddle and shouted back at the top of his lungs, "Pa, cut the crap with your holier-than-thou nonsense. The world belongs to those who have the guts to take it. You Han people didn't inherit your empire, you snatched it. So why can't we do the same? The wheel of fate turns for everyone. This year it's your throne, next year, maybe mine. Don't talk to me about central lands and barbarian tribes. Aren't we all born with the same flesh and blood? We held back before because we didn't feel like drawing swords. But now that we're here, we're not leaving with our tails between our legs. Enough talk, let's see who's got real skill. Come on, show me what you've got." Whoosh! General Zhongli's eyes blazed with fury. "How dare you, you arrogant mutt!" he roared like thunder. With a mighty cry, wah! He clamped his legs around his warhorse's flanks. Hiya! The steed reared up, neighed fiercely, and launched forward like a streak of red lightning. Zhongli's spear whipped through the air like a viper, whistling, as it went straight for Zhan Buyu's chest. But Zhan Buyu wasn't just bark, he had bite. As Zhongli charged, he shouted, "Good! Come on!" and swung his massive blade like a spinning door, unleashing a gust of killing wind as he met the strike head-on. Clang! The sound rang out like a thunderclap, shaking the ears of every soldier on both sides. Sparks flew in all directions like fireworks. From that moment, the battle was on. One fought with speed and precision, stab, thrust, jab, sweep, his spear never missing a vital point. The other relied on brute strength, cleave, chop, hack, smash every swing heavy enough to split stone. Their horses circled like dancing lanterns, hooves pounding the earth, kicking up dust like a storm. Soldiers on both sides craned their necks, barely daring to breathe. The clashing of steel was relentless. Clang, 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 as if a blacksmith's shop had sprung up right on the battlefield. Take this. Block that. Clang. Whoa, close one. He's good. Watch out. The duel raged on for over 80 full rounds. The sun rose high overhead, and still no winner in sight. A true clash of equals. A battle of giants. One was quick as a dragon, the other strong as a tiger. And neither gave an inch. Part 3. Arrows miss, knives fly. Both sides retreat for now. Zhan Buyu, the Tibetan general, kept swinging his sword, but inside his confidence was starting to crack. Dang it, this red-faced Han general is tough. Can't beat him head-on. Maybe it's time to get sneaky. He pulled his sword back just slightly, opening up his defense, and suddenly let out a dramatic cry. "Ay-ya!" He jerked the reins, spun his horse around, and faked a clumsy retreat. His blade swished in the air as he galloped away, his horse's tail flicking like he meant it. Clatter, clatter, clatter. General Zhongli saw him flee and shouted, "Hey, you coward! Think you can run?" With a sharp cry, he whipped his horse forward to chase, but Zhongli was no rookie. As he gave chase, his instincts kicked in. He's running a little too smoothly. Could be a trap. He gripped his spear tighter and kept his eyes locked on Zhan Buyu's back like a hawk. Suddenly, twang, swoosh. Just as Zhongli feared, Zhan Buyu heard the chasing hooves behind him and gave a wicked grin. In one swift move, he twisted in the saddle, pulled a hard bow from his side, knocked a barbed wolf-fang arrow, and FWIP let it fly straight for Zhongli's throat. The arrow screeched through the air like a banshee. Whoosh! But General Zhongli had been ready. In a flash, he leaned all the way back in the saddle like a plank of iron bending in mid-air. The deadly arrow sliced right past his helmet with a hair-raising hiss. So close, the cold wind from its flight brushed his scalp. Zhongli snapped back up with a grin. "Ha! You dirty dog. Tried to pull a trick on me, huh? Let's see how you like it." He didn't chase anymore. Instead, he yanked his reins hard. Whoa there! And turned his horse around, pretending to panic and flee. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Zhan Buyu had just shot the arrow and was still gloating. Hey, got him for sure this time. But then he turned to look and Zhongli was riding away. "Ha, now he runs. Scared you, didn't I?" He had no clue he was about to fall into a trap. He shouted in triumph, whipped his reins, and charged forward, swinging his giant sword in the air. Swoosh! He was just about to reach Zhongli's tail. And then it happened. Without looking back, Zhongli listened carefully, caught the sound of hooves, and suddenly moved. His left hand darted to his waist, flicked out fast as lightning, and "Catch this, you sneak!" A cold flash sliced through the air silent, deadly, and fast as a bolt of white lightning straight toward Zhan Buyu's face. Tang! Plink! Zhan Buyu, seasoned as he was, sensed the danger. Out of the corner of his eye he saw a glint of silver. His heart nearly leapt out of his chest. Relying purely on instinct, he yanked his broadsword up just in time. Clang! Sparks exploded as the flying knife slammed into the flat of his blade. But the knife came with too much force and too little distance. Even though it hit the sword, the tip scraped off the edge. Shrap! A stinging cold shot across Zhan Buyu's cheek. A. He touched his face, then looked at his finger's blood. The cut was shallow, just a thin slice like a silk thread, but the shock, the heat, the burning pain, it all hit at once. His knees went soft. Mother of mercy! That could have taken my head off. Gone was the bravado. Cold sweat poured down his back. This time he really ran faster than a jackrabbit. Zhongli sat back in his saddle, chuckling as he watched his enemy flee in panic. Hey, that'll teach him. He didn't give chase. He knew the enemy's morale was broken. Clang, clang, clang. Clang, clang, clang. Back in both camps, the soldiers saw their commanders return, one wounded, one exhausted, and knew the signal was coming. Almost at the same time, officers from both sides shouted, "Sound the gong, fall back." Sound the gong. And sure enough, gongs rang out from both sides, clang, 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 drowning the battlefield in a chorus of retreat. The soldiers, who moments ago were ready to kill, now exchanged a few half-hearted swipes, clang, clunk, clang, then, like waves receding from the shore, both sides pulled back to their camps. And so it was said, by the strange river storms rise and thunder roars. A crimson cloak and golden mail blaze with might. 80 rounds of dragon versus tiger brawling. Flying blades and sneaky arrows nearly end it all. What happens next? Stay tuned for the next episode.